Welcome. This is not just another story you will hear and forget. This is an invitation for your life to begin anew. Perhaps you have forgotten the strength that resides within you. Perhaps the world has told you that you are not enough, and you have started to believe it. Perhaps you have stopped trusting in your own power. But that can end today. Today, you will hear a different message. You will receive 10 lessons that can guide you forward once more. These are 10 truths that many people only discover too late. But for you, there is still time, and that is why you are here. Some people believe that change is impossible. They think success is reserved for the fortunate, that happiness is a prize they will never win. This is not the truth. The truth is much simpler. Your life can change. You can change, but only if you are willing to truly listen to these lessons, not just with your ears, but with your entire being. Let them sink into the soil of your heart. Let them remind you of the person you were always meant to be. Let them help you begin again. So, take a slow, deep breath. Sit with yourself in this quiet moment. Be honest. This is your time. The first lesson is this. Your past is a place of reference, not a place of residence. So many people are trapped by the ghosts of their past. They tell themselves, I have failed before, so I am destined to fail again. Or, I come from nothing, so I will never become something. They replay the same sad story until it becomes their reality. But your past is merely a chapter, not the entire book of your life. You may have made mistakes. You may have been wounded. You may feel that you have wasted precious years. But that does not mean your story is over. It simply means a new chapter is waiting to be written. Consider this. There are people who have made terrible choices, who have caused others pain, who have been lost in darkness. But then they chose to change. They started to learn. They chose to be kind. They built a new life from the ruins of the old one. This is also possible for you. You are not your errors. You are not your scars. You are not the labels others have placed upon you. You are the person who is still here, still breathing, still willing to try. That is a testament to your power. It all starts with a shift in your thinking. You must stop saying, this is just who I am. Instead, you must begin to declare, this is who I am becoming. Your past is not a prison sentence. It is a lesson that taught you what to avoid, a lesson that armed you with the wisdom to grow. So the next time your mind whispers that you cannot move forward, answer it with this. I may have stumbled in the past, but I am standing now. And that means I still have a chance. The second lesson is this. Small, consistent steps create monumental change. Most people wait for a grand, dramatic moment to transform their lives. They say, one day I will do it. But that one day never arrives. Why? Because true change is not a lightning strike. It is the gentle, persistent rain that softens the hardest ground. It happens in tiny actions, repeated day after day. And that is something you can do right now. You do not need to be flawless. You do not need to have every answer. You simply need to begin. Think of learning a new language. You do not master it overnight. You learn it by speaking one word, then one sentence, then one conversation. It feels small, almost insignificant, but one day you look back and realize you have crossed a vast distance. The same principle applies to every aspect of your life. If you want to grow, do not wait for motivation to strike. Just take one small step, a brief walk, a single page of a book, a moment of silence instead of anger. These small acts build something enormous. They build discipline. They build self-belief. They build you. Many people never start because they think their small efforts are meaningless. But they are wrong. Every small effort is a single brick, and with enough bricks you can build a fortress. One kind word, one healthy choice, one deep breath, It all matters. You may not see the results today, but you are laying the foundation nonetheless. So trust the process. Trust in your own consistency. You are not slow. You are steady. And the steady heart wins every time. There was once a young woman who dreamed of speaking with confidence. Her voice was a whisper. She was terrified of judgment. But every single night, she stood before her mirror and spoke 5 simple sentences aloud. Every day, without fail, even when exhaustion begged her to stop. After 1 year, she was helping her classmates. After 2 years, she delivered a speech to a small audience. When people asked for her secret, she replied, "I just didn't stop." That is the simple, profound truth. A small effort every day, no matter what. Now, let's move to the third lesson. You do not need anyone's permission to live your life. So many people stand at the starting line of their dreams, waiting for a signal that never comes. They wait for a parent's approval, a friend's encouragement, a teacher's blessing. But here is the truth. No one else can grant you the right to your own life. Only you can claim it. You do not need a certificate to begin. You do not need permission to evolve. You do not need to wait for someone else to believe in you. You can believe in yourself. Countless dreams have died because someone said, "That's not for people like you." A woman wants to start her own business. A man wants to become an artist. A student wants to pursue an unconventional path, but someone scoffs. Someone says, "Be realistic." And just like that, the dream fades. But ask yourself this, if a dream lives and breathes inside your heart, why does it require an external signature of approval? It doesn't. If it feels true to you, that is all the permission you need. There was a young man who wanted to create videos sharing his thoughts. His family called it a waste of time. His friends said nobody would ever watch, but he created them anyway. He was nervous. His equipment was basic, but he showed up week after week. After 2 years, people started to listen. Today, his voice provides comfort to thousands. And the very people who once doubted him now say, "We always knew you had it in you." That is the way of the world. First, they dismiss you. Then they ask you how you did it. So if you are waiting for a sign, for someone to tell you it's okay to start, let this be it. You have permission. Begin. Even if you don't feel ready, even if you are afraid, even if you are walking this path alone, you can take that first step. Your dream is not waiting for permission. It is waiting for you. This marks the end of our first part. By simply reading this far, you have already taken a significant step. You are not the same person you were a few minutes ago. Something inside you has begun to shift. If you nurture it, it will grow into something magnificent. Before I share the remaining lessons, I want to know, where are you reading this from? Knowing my words are reaching someone gives me strength. Lesson 4 is simple, yet often forgotten. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is a part of it. Most people try something new, and if they fail, they stop. They are overwhelmed by embarrassment and a feeling of inadequacy. They conclude, "I'm just not good enough." But this is the wrong conclusion to draw. Failure is not an end. It is the beginning of education. To fail means you were courageous enough to try. To try again means you are resilient enough to grow. Think of a small child learning to walk. They stumble and fall time and time again. Sometimes they cry. Sometimes they get a little bump, but they never think to themselves, "Well, I guess walking isn't for me." They just keep getting up. They keep trying. And eventually, their wobbly steps become a confident stride. They don't remember the falls. They only remember the freedom of movement. Life operates in the same way. You will fall. You will make mistakes, but one day you will stand tall and the memory of the fall will have faded. There was a woman who dreamed of opening a small cafe. Her first attempt at baking was a disaster. Her second attempt resulted in smoke. Her third was simply unappealing. But she persisted. People told her to give up. They laughed at her ambition. But she studied, she practiced, she listened to feedback. 1 year later, her tiny kitchen became a beloved local spot. 2 years later, her cafe was feeding homeless families for free. Had she stopped after that first mistake, none of that good would have come into the world. That is the power of refusing to be defeated by failure. So the next time you fail, do not run from it. Sit with it. Ask it questions. What did I learn from this? How can I approach this differently next time? What will I do better tomorrow? Do not waste the lesson and do not waste your energy on self-criticism. Just try again, and again, and again, until you no longer count the falls, only the times you rose. The fifth lesson is quiet but transformative. You must protect the peace of your mind. People are diligent about cleaning their homes and their clothes, but they often neglect to clean their minds. They allow negative thoughts, fear, resentment, doubt, and worry to accumulate inside. These thoughts create a constant internal noise. This noise becomes emotional pain. This pain, left unchecked, becomes your life. You cannot allow this to happen. You must guard your mind as you would guard your greatest treasure, because that is what it is. What does this mean in practice? It means consciously choosing what you allow in. It means spending less time with people who only complain. It means turning off the voices that tell you you are worthless. It means stopping the endless consumption of content that makes you feel anxious or small. Your mind is not a dumpster, it is a garden, and for anything to grow, it requires sunlight and peace. There was a man who felt perpetually exhausted. The fatigue was not in his body, but in his spirit. He felt a constant heaviness. He couldn't sleep well. His thoughts were a storm of problems. One day, a friend asked him, "What are you feeding your mind every day?" He took the question seriously. He realized he was consuming a diet of constant bad news, online arguments, and gossip. He decided to make a change. One by one, he cut out the sources of noise. He began taking long, silent walks. He listened to calming music. He read books that nourished his soul. After a few weeks, he felt a lightness he hadn't experienced in years. The world outside hadn't changed, but his world inside was entirely new. This is the truth. A peaceful mind is a powerful mind. You cannot grow in a garden full of weeds. You cannot move forward if your heart is weighed down. Cleanse your mind as you would clean your room, a little bit each day. Soon, you will begin to see your life with newfound clarity. The sixth lesson is about time, and it is this: stop spending your life on things that do not give life back to you. Most people don't lose their dreams to laziness. They lose them to distraction. Hours spent scrolling through other people's lives on a phone. Hours spent on entertainment that leaves them empty. Hours spent on activities that yield nothing of value. Then they complain, "I just don't have enough time." But the truth is, they had the time. They just gave it away to the wrong things. You have been given 24 hours today, the same as every other person on this planet. The difference lies in how those hours are used. Some people use their hours to build. Some use them to complain. Some use them to escape. Some use them to rise. What you dedicate your time to is what your life will become. If you dedicate time to your dream will grow. If you dedicate it to your fears will grow. If you dedicate it to nothing, then nothing will grow. There was a young woman who dreamed of being a writer, but she spent her evenings lost in television shows. She kept telling herself, "I'll start writing one day." One day stretched into 5 years. Then one evening, she made a different choice. She turned off the screen. She opened a notebook. She wrote for just 15 minutes. She did it again the next day and the day after that. After 6 months, she had written a collection of short stories. After a year, she shared them with friends. They were moved to tears by her words. They told her it made them feel less alone. She later said, "All it took was 15 minutes a night." So ask yourself, what are you doing with your precious time? Is it building the life you want, or is it slowly dismantling it? You don't need 10 hours a day. You just need 1 focused hour or even 30 focused minutes. But give it your full attention. Make it count. Your dream is waiting for you, but it will not wait forever. And now, lesson 7. You must learn to forgive yourself. Most people carry a heavy burden of pain, not just from what others have done to them, but from what they have done to themselves or failed to do. They carry guilt for past mistakes, shame for their imperfections, and regret for missed opportunities. These heavy feelings settle deep within and poison their ability to feel joy. But here is the critical thing to remember. You cannot go back in time. You cannot change what has been done. You can only learn from it and begin again from where you are now. Clinging to past pain does not protect you. It only fills your hands so completely that you have no room to hold on to peace. If you want to move forward, self-forgiveness is not an option. It is a necessity. Perhaps you were dishonest. Perhaps you hurt someone you loved. Perhaps you gave up on a dream too early. Perhaps you stayed in a bad situation for too long. The specifics do not matter as much as what you choose to do now. Say these words to yourself. I did the best I could with the knowledge I had at the time. I know better now, and so I will do better starting today. You must grant yourself this gift, the gift of a clean slate. There was a man who had lost his family not to death but to his own actions. He was consumed by his work. He was often angry. He forgot how to show love. One day his wife left him and his children grew distant. He was completely broken. But instead of letting that brokenness be the end of his story, he chose to rebuild. He started going to therapy. He wrote long letters of apology without expecting a reply. He was patient. One day his son came to visit him. They talked. They cried. They began the slow process of healing. Not everything was magically fixed, but for the first time in years, the man could breathe freely. That is the power of forgiveness. It is not about pretending the hurt never happened. It is about declaring that the hurt will no longer control your future. You deserve peace, even if you have made mistakes. You deserve love, even if you once felt lost. You deserve a second chance, and even if no one else offers it, you must be the one to give it to yourself. This is the end of part 2. You have now absorbed 7 profound lessons. These are not just words, they are truths. You might feel something stirring within you, a glimmer of hope, a spark of strength. Hold onto that feeling. It is the sign that change is already taking root. Lesson 8 concerns the people in your life, and it is this. Not everyone is meant to walk with you on your entire journey. We often try to desperately hold onto people who are not meant for us. We plead for their love. We wait for them to change. We offer them endless chances, and each time we are left hurt again. We stay because we are afraid of being lonely, afraid of starting over, afraid that no one else will want us. But staying with the wrong person is a deeper, more painful loneliness than being by yourself. You do not have to hate them. You do not have to fight with them. But you absolutely must protect your own peace. If someone consistently makes you feel small, exhausted, or unworthy, that is not love. That is a wound. And your life does not need more wounds. It needs space to heal. It needs a sense of safety. It needs you to be your own sanctuary. There was a young woman who was deeply in love, but her partner was emotionally distant. He rarely listened. He dismissed her feelings. He would alternate between moments of kindness and days of cruelty, keeping her in a constant state of hope and despair. She poured everything she had into the relationship, but he never gave her a sense of peace. One day, she looked at her reflection in the mirror and did not recognize the sad, tired person looking back. She whispered, "I miss myself." In that moment, she knew she had to leave. It was excruciatingly painful. It was incredibly difficult. But slowly, piece by piece, she started to find herself again. Her genuine smile returned. Her inner light began to shine again, not because a new person gave it to her, but because she finally let go of what was dimming it. Letting go is not a sign of failure. It is an act of courage. It is the courage to say, "I deserve better than this." The courage to walk away from a love that causes pain. The courage to be a home for yourself. If someone truly values you, their actions will show it. If they don't, you must let them go. It is not your job to convince people to stay. It is your job to love yourself enough to stop begging them to. Lesson 9 is gentle, but it has the power to change everything. It is this: learn to be kind to yourself. The world can be a harsh and critical place. People can be unkind. Life can be heavy. In the midst of all that, your own inner voice must be a source of comfort. You must become your own best friend, your own biggest supporter, your own safe harbor. Most people say things to themselves that they would never dream of saying to another human being. "I'm so stupid. I'm a complete failure. I can't do anything right." And then they wonder why they feel so broken and weak. Your words are like seeds. Whatever you plant in the garden of your mind will grow. If you plant seeds of self-hatred, you will harvest a life of pain. If you plant seeds of self-love, you will harvest a life of hope. So start small. When you wake up in the morning, say one kind thing to yourself. When you make a mistake, respond with gentle understanding, not harsh criticism. When you feel tired, do not attack yourself for being weak. Allow yourself to rest, to breathe, to try again tomorrow. There was a young girl who used to cry whenever she saw her reflection. She disliked her face, her body, her entire existence. One day, a wise teacher told her, "What if, for 1 month, you tried speaking to yourself as you would speak to someone you deeply love?" She decided to try it. It felt awkward and unnatural at first, but she persisted. Every morning, she would look in the mirror and say one simple sentence: "You are doing your best. I am proud of you for trying. We will get through this." After many months, something shifted in her eyes. The tears were replaced by a soft smile. For the first time, she felt that she was on her own side. Being kind to yourself is not weakness. It is the ultimate source of strength. It is how you survive the difficult days. It is how you grow deep, unshakable roots. You do not have to be perfect. You just have to be present for yourself, with yourself, every single day. That is the true path to healing. And now we arrive at the final lesson. Lesson 10. Your story is not over yet. There are moments when life can feel finished, when it feels like nothing will ever improve, like you have already missed your one great chance. But as long as there is breath in your lungs, your story is still being written. You are not done. There is still more to experience, more to learn, more to become. You may not be able to see the next chapter from where you stand right now, but that does not mean it is not coming. There are people who found their life's purpose at 60. People who found true love again after devastating heartbreak. People who were isolated for years and then met one friend who changed everything. Life does not stop just because one plan failed. Life continues, and so must you. The rebuilding may be slow, it may be quiet, but step by step a new life takes shape. There was a man who lost everything. He lost his job. His wife left him. His friends disappeared. He saw no reason to continue, but a tiny, resilient spark inside him whispered, "Just keep going." He chose to listen to that whisper. He got out of bed. He took a humble job. He started walking in the park every morning. He read one book, then another. A year later, he had a new career. He was still on his own, but he felt alive again. 2 years later, he met a woman who smiled at him in a way no one ever had before. He often thought, if I had given up on that dark day, I would have never known this joy. That is the essential point. You never know what beautiful surprise is waiting for you around the next corner. You just have to keep walking long enough to find out. Your story is not over. Not today. Not now. Perhaps this very moment is the turning of the page. Perhaps this is the day when everything starts to change. Hold on. Even when it's hard, even when it's dark, even when no one else seems to understand. You are not finished yet. You are just beginning. And so, our journey together concludes. 10 lessons. 10 reminders of the incredible person you are and the even more incredible person you can still become. You have made it this far, and that in itself is a victory worth celebrating. Do not let these words fade. Revisit them when you need to. Read them aloud. Share them with someone who needs to hear them. Let them take root and live inside of you. Change does not happen in a single day, but a single day can be the start of all change. Perhaps that day is today.